The Breakfast Rush with Nichal Sarawan.
It is your Breakfast Rush. It's 90.4 FM in Durban, 105.6 FM in Pietermaritzburg. You with Nichal and the team as we get you through Breakfast Radio this morning. Some of the questions that were coming up yesterday, and I figured we need to get the legal expertise on these questions with regard to what is going on in Isipingo and now seemingly going on in Tshwane as well, with regard to the adhan being played on loudspeakers out to the public. So to get that legal perspective on these questions, I want to say Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Breakfast Rush, Brother Saber Ahmed Jazbhay.
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much, Nichal.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show, sir. Let's start off right at the top. One of the arguments being used in the court is that the adhan is a nuisance. It's a disturbance, a noise disturbance. And we know that there are control regulations via municipalities with regard to this. Can you give us a brief insight into what those municipal regulations are?
All right. First thing, very important, is that we have a constitutional democracy. I think I got to spell this thing out. So therefore, there are rules and regulations that control, as it were, noise. You know, I'm reminded of the song by Neil Diamond. It's a beautiful sound. It's a sound that I love.
Yes, indeed.
You know, the words really fit. And I've been hearing comments from various non-Muslims, and I'm so pleased. Everybody that I've spoken to and have heard are absolutely for the adhan. Our municipality has those regulations that bring about what is known as abatement of noise. Now, what is the issue? The definition of a noise. Now, Regulation 8.1 of our bylaws make it very clear that if you have anything on an amplifier in a public area, then you must make sure that you've got permission. And of course, you've got to keep the noise down to an acceptable level. But that's now public area. If you're living in a residential area, you must expect some degree of noise or some degree of disturbances, but it has to be controlled. So in the case of an adhan, which is no more than 3 minutes per day, I believe that these regulations do not cover adhan. And therefore, we are living in a constitutional democracy. We must accept the fact, and this is where the judge slipped up. We do not have absolute rights, but our rights are somewhat controlled and regulated by a law of general application. Therefore, that particular judgment is sadly and woefully lacking in its context.
So there has been talk about an appeals process that may go through. Can you comment on that?
Absolutely. A notice to appeal has been lodged. And in a while, I suppose, there will be documents served on the parties, etc., and it will go through a process that takes about maybe a month or two before it is finalized. Until that happens, unfortunately, the status quo of a judgment stands.
Talking about that status quo of that judgment, what are the possible legal implications of the interim judgment against the playing of the adhan?
Well, in the meantime, you cannot have your adhan very loud. So you can stand outside and make your adhan and no one can stop you. So until this judgment is overturned on appeal or on review, Muslims, mosques cannot have any loud amplified sound. That is a matter. So there are wider implications, Nichal.
Yes.
It might be that on a Sunday church bells, the Hindu gong, the temple, people driving around with holy mantras being played on all holy on the Hindu days. That can be forbidden. This is what the impact of the judgment all about. This is what idiot has brought about that disunity. But as I like it yesterday, these are wonderful opportunities that we all get together behind and to make sure that no outside force disturbs the harmony that we have in South Africa between Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and all denominations.
Indeed. Please go ahead and have a blessed day, sir, and thank you for taking our call this morning.
I appreciate your effort, and I must congratulate you, I must applaud you for carrying this show yesterday. It is so great, it's so significant that people from across the world have been telling me that they streamlined on Al Ansaar, and it is showing that there is a world concern out there.
I appreciate your kind words, sir. Have a blessed day going forward. Assalamu alaikum to you.
It's the Breakfast Rush, all over your radio.